All right. Well, today, Detroit takes another step into the future. There's been a lot of talk about how Michigan is one of the states least affected by climate change in America. And if you see the national stories, that might be true. But anybody who's dealt with the power outages here in the last couple of months with the ice storms and the windstorms, it doesn't feel like a small change. And for those whose basements have been flooded, it doesn't feel like a small change. And everybody has a responsibility to address this. When Donald Trump pulled out of the Paris Accords, I was one of the big city mayors who went to Chicago and pledged that the cities would continue to honor those principles, regardless of what they did in D.C. And we committed to a 75% reduction in emissions by 2034. And Councilman Scott Benson, who has been the chair of the Green Task Force and sponsored the Greenhouse Gas Ordinance, has been an advocate every step of the way. We cannot go out for bids to buy vehicles without having an in-depth conversation about how to maximize the use of electric vehicles, which is exactly the way it should be. So today, 48 municipal parking vehicles that our municipal parking officers will use are the Chevy Bolt EX, what Kelly's Blue Book says is the #1 electric car in America. Glad to have this GM product. And this will be 100% of the transportation for our officers. Zero emissions from the tailpipe. And in addition to the 48 cars, of course, you see the 48 charging stations right here. So this is new for us to be going on this kind of scale, but I'm reliably told that the charge lasts 200 to 250 miles, and our officers drive an average of 150 miles a day. But I just think it is a great message all the way around. We've got about 250 vehicles now in the city fleet that are either electric or hybrid out of 2,700, and our commitment is we are eventually going to switch all of them over as part of a much broader plan to do our share to reduce our carbon footprint. But I'm really proud of Keith Hutchings and the Municipal Parking Department and what they have done to make this a reality. I'm tired of listening to people give speeches about climate change. We want real action. And the person who's advocated real action from the time I've gotten here, has been a sponsor every step of the way, is Councilman Scott Benson.
Well, number one, thank you, and thank you, Mayor Duggan, and thank you to the administration for moving the city forward. It has been an honor and a privilege to be an advocate in this space, but it's also an honor to see the administration really embrace resiliency, sustainability, and now we are leading the way. We have now, I believe, created the largest municipal fleet of EV vehicles in the state of Michigan. And so that's just how Detroit leads, how we are at the tip of the spear, and how the city of Detroit leads the way when it comes to resiliency and sustainability. And so this also helps us achieve our greenhouse gas reduction goals, and it means that other cities will be looking towards Detroit on how we lead the way and how they can follow. And so when we've been advocating at the city council table that we need to move our fleets into the future, no longer should we continue to buy ICE, which is frankly a dying technology. We need to embrace more sustainable vehicles, especially those that are run and powered by electricity or those that use less gas, like hybrid vehicles. And so just to see that we are now establishing an EV fleet, the largest in the state, is huge. I just really want to acknowledge the administration for what it's doing and how it is embracing sustainability and making sure that Detroit will be the #1 city, which is the goal of City Council, in the country when it comes to sustainability. We are going to be that blue ribbon state, and this is how you lead. And to have a partner with the parking department and Director Keith Hutchings is also huge. I just want to congratulate Keith for creating now the state's largest EV fleet at a municipal level. And Director Hutchings.
Just really want to express our appreciation to the mayor for entrusting the Municipal Parking Department to begin this endeavor with the first fleet that's fully electric. And of course, we appreciate Councilmember Benson for his long-term strong advocacy of moving to sustainable energy sources. Of course, we are really excited at the Municipal Parking Department to have this privilege of being the first fleet that the city uses to test the concept and to prepare the concept to expand it. The vehicles are exciting. Everybody's really happy about it. Those who've had the opportunity to drive it are in love with the vehicles. There are going to be some immediate benefits, such as we will have efficiencies in operation, because they're electric vehicles, there's fewer moving parts, so the maintenance of them will be much easier. We'll have less downtime. They'll be fueled right here versus having to go to an adjacent location. And those are all time-saving and efficiency things, as well as there's safety features that our current vehicles don't have that will help our drivers to be even more safe when they're driving. And they're a lot more roomy. It's easier to get in and out. And of course, they're getting in and out quite a bit. So this makes it much more ergonomically designed for what they're doing. But most importantly, it allows us as a department to do our part and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. And we're just completely excited about it. We've done the testing even before we got to this stage to make sure that the units, the vehicles would meet our standards, and we feel very confident that we'll have to have minimal operational change to install this new vehicle, this new technology. And I could talk all day about this, but the person I really would like you to hear from is one of our great people who works hard and tirelessly in our parking enforcement effort, Mr. Javon Perry.
Thank you. My name is Javon Perry. I'm an enforcement officer for the city of Detroit. I've been an officer for 3 years. I feel the job that we do is very important because it keeps the citizens safe. I get to assist the handicapped citizens of Detroit, the elderly. Vehicles like this, it also helps keep us safer because of the added features that it does have to keep us better and help us enforce. I feel these vehicles help reduce climate change, help reduce air pollution, so it's much safer for the city of Detroit as well. I thank Director Keith Hutchins for giving me those accolades. I take my job serious, and I thank everybody else for coming out here. Jovun, Perry, Perry. Thank you.
All right. Great job. All right. You guys want to say anything? All right. So these folks, as you can tell, are very serious and focused on their jobs. Do you like the new cars?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm really glad that was the answer. You never. Anybody got any questions?
What was the total investment to replace all of the vehicles that we see here today?
$3 million.
$3 million?
Yeah, we were going to replace vehicles anyway. We're just going from internal combustion to electric.
And the vehicles that are now out of service, what's going to be done with those vehicles?
Keith?
Those vehicles will be retired, as is a normal city process, and they are auctioned off after their life and the end of their useful useness.
And how often does something like this happen, or what was the life cycle for the vehicles that you had here?
Well, the city's policy is every 5 years we look to retire vehicles.
Anything next you want to speak on for Clean Energy Detroit coming up?
So the city of Detroit, we are really focused on moving forward, and we've been able to partner with the administration, at least on the city council side, and with their team. And the administration has really started to embrace sustainability and resiliency. We just took a site visit to Seattle to look at best practices. We took a number of the cabinet level directors, Tricia Stein, who I refer to as the czar of sustainability for the city of Detroit, help lead the way and identify who should be going on that site visit. And so we have our greenhouse gas ordinance, we have our green purchasing ordinance, we are working on a benchmarking ordinance right now that will start to really look at all the levels of efficiency with all the buildings within the city of Detroit. And so we're really moving towards that direction. And with our greenhouse gas ordinance, we have our goals for greenhouse gas reductions, which the city will be meeting. And so that's how we are leading the way as a city and really focused on that. And then to have the new priorities from the administration when it comes to sustainability, that's also very, very helpful. We are now pushing out the message of how Detroit is leading the way and what our priorities are. And just to have our priorities lead with equity, sustainability, and make sure that all of our residents are brought into the fold as well, and not leaving anyone out. And that's how we lead as a city moving forward. And City Council is right there all the way. We want to make sure that the city has the resources and the administration has what it needs to carry out this mission.
You mentioned that there were other EVs within city government in operation. And where are those EVs and how are they doing?
Tim, do you know the answer?
All right. Should I take my jacket off? So hi, Tim Slusser, Chief of Mobility Innovation at the City of Detroit. So Slusser is spelled S-L-U-S-S-E-R if you need it. So we have another number of other vehicles that are currently in the procurement process. Those include a couple of Ford F-150 Lightnings that'll be used in our Parks and Rec department to go and pick up trash from our parks. We're also investing in some John Deere Gators because we can't drive some of those vehicles onto the actual grass and grounds. So we're going to have some electric Gators that'll be part of that program as well. We're also investing in electric refuse trucks for our Department of Public Works to go pick up trash and recycling in the city of Detroit. So we're exploring a number of different vehicle types. We're taking... Yep. So, and then also DDOT, right? So we have 4 electric, fully electric buses operating in the city today. We have 4 more on order. We're building out our Shoemaker facility to support an expansion of additional buses in the future. So again, we're focusing on a number of different form factors and vehicle types in the city of Detroit so that we can take a very cohesive and strategic approach to rolling this technology out. It's no secret that Detroit is a cold weather climate, right? And it's no secret that cold weather can also present some challenges, for electrification. So, but we're going full steam ahead at this and trying to again take a collective approach across all of our vehicle types here in the city of Detroit.
Before I get to my other question, thinking about the election, is there a way to, like, even down Woodward, it's on time? Are you considering up under with the new innovative things, Mr. Mayor, about things being up under the ground so we don't have the issue with the
Well, if you drive down 14th Street, we're going to charge your car from below ground. But are you talking about the wires on the power line?
Well, I just came from Simi Valley, so
Yeah.
they got all this new modern stuff, testing.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if the cities have gotten the message regarding what can work and what
Yeah.
won't work. Do we have to tear up all our streets or?
So, it's funny, I had a long conversation with Jerry Norcia, the CEO of DTE today, and we should probably wait and announce this together, but I think the fact that we need to change the way that we have done the wiring in this state is something. But the city has overhead wires, for example, on our streetlights. We've got a lot of things. The other thing, though, I'm very anxious to do, I was in Chicago over the weekend, and I was surprised to see the number of electric charging stations in Chicago. So Tim Slusser and Tricia Steiner,
That was
chiefs.
the other question I was going to ask
Yeah.
regarding it.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
really
Yeah.
don't want them out in the community, but since they're in the community giving us tickets, what is the possibility of there being charging stations not only for the city cars, but for the other cars?
So Tim and Tricia are now responsible for me not going to Chicago and being pissed off that they have more charging stations than we have. See, I don't know if you saw yesterday, but Jennifer Granholm just announced a national competition to fund charging stations. We've got a little bit of a relationship there. We're going to partner with DTE, but you're going to see over the next year Detroit start to catch up with the deployment. But you look at what's happening at Factory Zero, GM's producing 100% electric cars. You look at what Ford is doing, Stellantis now starting to go to electric Jeeps. We have got to be a leader in having charging stations available, and we are going to be very focused on that over the next 12 months.
I know when I was with the Young administration that there was a thing with Ford where they almost gave all the cars to Dearborn free
Yeah.
because they were in Dearborn.
Yeah.
Now that we have Ford blocks away, have they partnered to say that they're going to give us so many police cars?
Yeah, they don't do that anymore.
I have a question for the enforcement officers, and that is, have you been in the car, have you taken them for a spin, and how do they feel?
I absolutely love the new cars. They're a lot more roomier. Basically quiet. You probably wouldn't know they were on if you didn't know. So I feel they're a great asset to the city of Detroit and as well as our department.
Can I just add one item? And so when the mayor talked about his experience in Chicago and seeing these in the neighborhood, that's also what it means to lead with equity, to make sure that all of our residents have the same opportunities and they see the benefits as well. And so when you have an administration that believes in that, that's what you'll see. And when we see the example in other states, we're going to bring that back to the city of Detroit because we are going to be the leaders here. And leading with equity is part of sustainability and part of our dialogue and our jargon here in the city of Detroit.
Well, thank you for that, because Mr. Mayor, I don't know if you know it, but most mayors take visits. Thank you for not being limited to here and going out and seeing it, because when you look at Karen Bass in L.A., some of the same stuff you're doing right now, they're spearheading with the housing.
Right.
So let me say thank you, because we don't hear that enough. Because I travel so much, I see it.
Right.
And I missed yesterday's, I was in a conference call, announcement about our new assistant. The assistant opened up the laundromat is actually, I don't know if people know, is a neurosurgeon.
Yeah.
She's actually a surgeon,
Yeah,
black
no.
surgeon.
Yeah,
So
she
I'm proud
she
to
finishes her surgery, she go collects the quarters out of the machines. I don't. This is a true Detroit entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur, side hustle.
So it just shows to me, I mean, and I guess I need to ask the question, what else are we doing to make sure that the world knows that Detroit is on the map for real?
So,
Because those who are from here see it.
you know, my philosophy is act first, talk later. And so today, we've taken a concrete step toward action, and we will continue to be promoting this. But you cannot be the home of Ford and GM and Stellantis and all the innovations they are doing. They are taking on Tesla full bore. The city is going to be 100% behind them in supporting every aspect of that.
Now, is this Walker Miller, who's the
Right.
electrical person?
Yeah, she's fabulous.
Yeah. Is she going to be part of the stations or whatever?
So is Carla one of the vendors? No. We'll have to check on that. But she's got her office over on Woodward, and she's been a big leader in that area. So let us check on that. All right, thank you all very much, and I'm sure they'll be glad to give you a ride.
Vendors, just so you're aware, they're going to also demonstrate the process that they engage in before they go out. So there's checks, and you're welcome to look at the cars and film whatever you need to film.